Yo, what is up guys, it's the Goblin and welcome back to another Call of Duty Infinite Warfare video. Today's video is going to be another tip video teaching you guys how to get better at Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Now this was one of my most beloved series in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Basically what this is this first episode I'm going to be giving you guys some pretty general tips and some very important tips on how to get better at Infinite Warfare. And basically I want all of you guys in the comment section down below to ask me any sort of questions you guys have on Infinite Warfare that you want me to answer in my next episode of this series. And basically I'm going to answer your questions, anything to do with the game. So any question you guys want to ask that has to do with a thing that I can answer and give you guys tips for Infinite Warfare or even for Modern Warfare Remastered, you can go ahead and throw that down in the comment section down below. Also be sure to drop a like on this thing because this is the first episode of the new series. You guys seem to love this series last year for Black Ops 3. It wasn't even last year, it was like a few months ago, but that'd be absolutely awesome if you guys could all drop a like on this thing and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. But before we get into that, I have a quick message from a sponsor, AppBounty. Now basically what AppBounty is you can click the link down in the description or go to appbounty.net and it'll redirect you to the iOS or Android app. Essentially what AppBounty does, I'll show it up on the screen, is you can use this app once you download it for iOS or Android to basically find other apps, download other apps, and play other games and earn points by doing so. You're basically earning points just by getting new games on your phone and by playing those new games, which is extremely awesome. With those points you can do so many things. You can exchange it for PSN cards, Xbox cards, even Steam cards for those of you that actually do play on the PC. I know most of my viewers are going to be on Xbox or PSN, and you can also use my code Goblin to get some free points to start out with, which is a pretty good start. I know a lot of people just sit around on their phones all day. You know, when you can't be on Call of Duty, a lot of the time you're just laying in bed or sitting on the couch with your phone, and this is definitely a cool app to check out. I'll show up on the screen how it works. It's fairly simple. Link is down in the description. Just click that, go into the app, follow the instructions, and once you download the apps and played them and got your points, you can even delete the apps and the points still say. Really cool app, be sure to check it out, and let's get right into this Call of Duty Infinite Warfare video. So when it comes to getting better at Call of Duty, a lot of tips go from different games to different games. You know, a lot of tips I said during the whole year of Black Ops 3, if you guys are watching me then, they can be applied in this year of Infinite Warfare. However, every game is going to be different. These futuristic sort of Call of Duty games, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3, are very similar. Advanced Warfare had more of like a crazy movement system, but there's a bunch of tips, and I have quite a few here that basically you guys can take these tips and they will help you to get better or to start improving immediately. So the first tip is you need to use guns you're comfortable with. Every single time, all I ever talk about is class it up, class it up, class it up, because it's literally so important. Class it up is literally so important, and that's why, you know, a lot of the time you don't see pro players or anyone, pub stompers, talking about class ups because they already know the best class ups in the game. However, not everyone is going to know right away, and everyone has a basic different opinion on this. Now, basically, what my tip is here is definitely watch my class it up vids, get classes from those, but you need to find the ones you're comfortable with. If I say, you know, my favorite gun in the game is the raw LMG, maybe it's not your favorite. Maybe your favorite is the Volk, or maybe your favorite is going to be the K-Bar, but I have class ups for all of those on my channel, and you guys can all go check those out. You need to be using a gun you are comfortable with, and that's just number one. If your gun, all your buddies are telling you, this gun is the best, this gun is so good, but you personally feel like that gun sucks, or that gun doesn't work for you, don't use the gun. All up to personal preference. Use something that works for you, not what that works for everyone else. Next tip to go with these class ups is I give these class ups per gun, but every map plays differently, and in this game you need to be running different class ups on different maps. So for example, a map like Grounded, I'm using the Volk here in this gameplay. That's a good setup. This map has more longer lines of sights. If I was to use an FHR-40 on this map, that would be kind of dumb because the FHR-40 is made for close range. The FHR-40 is great on a map like, for example, a map like Frost would be perfect for the FHR-40 because that map has, if I play around the building, super tight engagements. You need to know which guns you're good on with each maps, and it's kind of hard to see that right now because there's no combat record, but you can basically base it off of your personal experience. And obviously when you have a gun on a certain map, you need to play to the strengths of that gun. So example, like the map Frost, if I'm using the FHR-40 or another SMG, maybe the ERAD, I'm going to play in that building thing on the side. I'm not going to play in the middle of the map. I'm not going to play on the catwalk side of the map because that would just be dumb. You need to play to the strengths of your guns. This is something I've been talking about for years. Literally, if you're a shotgun player, you could be a shotgun player on pretty much any map in Call of Duty, but you need to run your routes like you're a shotgun player. If I'm using a sniper rifle, I need to run my routes to keep people at a distance. I shouldn't be running through tight quarters and tight buildings, when if I'm using a shotgun, I should be running through tight quarters and tight buildings. That makes sense? That's basically what it is. You need to find which guns and which classes work for which maps, and how you play those maps with the guns is even more important. That's definitely a very important tip. Next tip I have for you guys is Killstreaks versus skill level. Now basically, you guys might have seen my video on how to get more kills. I talk about the best killstreaks in the game to get the most amount of kills. Those killstreaks are not going to work for everyone. Now, you need to put on killstreaks that work for your skill level. So, you know, I probably have people watching this video who are below average players, who are average players, who are above average players. You know, people that watch my videos have all the way from, you know, a really negative KD to a really, really high KD, a super high KD, 3 KDs and stuff like that. And that's why you need to pick score streaks that work for you. For example, score streaks that I like to run are something like the UAV, Scorchers, and then a Warden. That works like perfect for me. That's a medium-high sort of kill streak setup, but I still have the constant UAVs, which helps me out. If you're more of a beginner player, you really shouldn't be running the Thor, because you're probably going to get it once every 10 games. You're really just wasting that score streak slot. What you should be running, if you're more of a beginner player, is maybe a UAV, a Scarab, or whatever it's called, a Scarab, and a counter UAV. The smallest kill streaks, or maybe just run a UAV. You need to run kill streaks this is my rule with the kill streaks. If you're not getting all of your kill streaks every single game at least once or twice, they're too high. They're just too high. You need to lower those kill streaks. If you're not getting every single kill streak at least once or twice in a game, obviously if I'm running the Thor kill streak, I'll be happy to get that one once, or if I'm running the RC8. But if I'm running a kill streak like the Warden, I'm trying to get that 3 or 4 times a game. If you're running a kill streak, maybe like for example, say you're running the AP3X or whatever it's called, and you can't get that, you can only get it 1 every 5 games, you're really just wasting your time, and you need to pick yourself. You know, no one else is going to come in there and be your personal coach and tell you, you need to use this score streaks. You need to be your personal judge and say, okay, maybe these kill streaks are a bit too high for me. I'm kind of just wasting my time. Lowering these kill streaks is not a bad thing. That's not admitting to being a bad player. That's making you a better player, because if you lower your score streaks from maybe a Thor and an RC8, and you lower it to a Bombardment and a Scorchers, those are going to get you more kills. Those are going to make you a better player, because they're going to be getting you more kills, more score per minute, build up to your more kill streaks, and get you a higher KD ratio. They're going to be doing everything for you. That's super duper important to make sure you're doing that. Next tip I have for you guys is to use your payloads. I didn't realize this video is already 7 minutes in. This is going to be a really long one, giving you guys some really good tips, because I have a lot in this game and I'm really passionate about this game. But please leave a like on this thing, by the way, since this is going so long. Use your payload smart to your advantage is what I've written down. Basically what that means is use the payload, know what payload you have, know what trait you have, and use them to your advantage. For example, if mine is the claw and the ping, for example, like I'm running in this gameplay, I know that the claw is a deadly weapon. It's deadly. When am I going to use the claw? I'm going to use it when I'm up in the enemy spawn, when I'm in a tight situation, because I know I can kill my way out of that. If I'm in their spawn and there's 4 guys spawned around me, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm scared, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have my claw ready, I'm going to whip it out, and I'm going to mow those people down, because I know how to use my payload, and I save my payload. You need to find the balance between saving your payload for when it's really needed, and not wasting the time, because if you're just leaving your payload on ready, it's obviously not building up to the next one, and you're sort of just wasting your time. You need to find that perfect balance. Also knowing which trait you have. For example, I have the trait ping, so when I get a kill, it pings the minimap. Every time I get a kill, my eyes go straight to the minimap, but I know ghost counters ping. I know exactly what my traits and my payloads do. I know ghost counters ping, so I know, okay, how many of these enemies have ghost? I try to learn that off the first 3-4 minutes of the game, and I know how much can I trust my ping. Can I trust my ping 30% because they're all running ghost? Can I trust my ping 100% because none of them are running ghost? I'm using my UAV and I'm using my ping to know that, and I talked about that a little bit in my how to aim video, but that's a very good tip. It's more of an advanced tip. You know, some of my tips are more beginner stuff. This one is more of an advanced. Trying to calculate how much of the enemies have ghost on. So that's a really advanced tip. That's something that, you know, really try-hard pub stompers will do. But if you can get the hang of that, it'll definitely bring your game up. Use your payload to your advantage. Know what trait and know what payload you have on. Don't just throw some random stuff on and forget what you have in the middle of the match. You know, that's something that, you know, average players will do. If you want to get to that next level, you need to know what you have, and you need to play it smart like that. Next tip I have for you guys is use the mini-map, learn the spawns. One thing I know that a lot of people do, even good players, they don't use the mini-map as much as you should. I look at the mini-map as much as I look at the middle of the screen. The mini-map is so important in Call of Duty. It's really big in this game. You can see it takes up like, I like the mini-map in this game. It's really big. You can see a lot of stuff on it, and I really do like the layout of it. Now, you have to use the mini-map to learn the spawns. The best way to learn the spawns is, this is how I did it back when I was, beginning and trying to become a better player, which is more like Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2 sort of days. What I would do is, when you're playing, you don't really realize how much you're learning. You don't realize all the spawn points, but when you're watching other people's YouTube videos, I used to watch people's tip videos and YouTube videos when I was learning the game years ago. You need to watch the tip videos. So example, you're watching my gameplay now, you can learn the spawns by listening to what I'm saying in my commentaries, but also when you're watching the gameplay, notice different spawn points. Call of Duty only has probably 12 spawn points per map, maybe something like that. It's obviously different for different game modes, but you need to learn those spawn points, and it is kind of hard to learn spawn points when you're playing the game, because you're so focused on minimap. Where's this guy? Killing this guy? You know what I mean? You're focused on a million things at once. When you're sitting back and watching a video, it's a lot easier to learn that sort of stuff, and that's what I would definitely recommend with doing that. Next tip I would give you guys is definitely different game modes have different amount of players in them and different skilled players in it. If you're going to play team deathmatch or free-for-all, you're going to get more beginner players. If you're scrolling down the list, basically the farther you scroll down the list of game modes, or the more you move over to a special playlist, the better players you're going to get, or the more, not the necessarily better players, but the players that know more about the game are going to be the ones playing hardpoint and stuff like that. If you just want to play against more beginner players, or you want to get better at the game when you're a beginner, team deathmatch, free-for-all, usually the best place. And also another tip is, I noticed if you play in the morning, you get a bunch more newbie players than if you play late at night. One problem with me is I always game late at night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I end up just raging because I'm playing against other kids who are playing at 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., which are really 90% of the time going to be tryhard people like myself. And that's basically a tip I can give you guys for playing different game modes and stuff like that. Another thing about this game is the kill streaks, like I was talking about earlier, balancing your kill streaks, picking ones that work for you. That is really good, but this game, the kill streaks aren't that good at all. You need to focus on gun skill. You need to learn the guns, you need to deck your guns out with attachments, and you need to make sure your gun skill is on point. One thing I really do like about this Call of Duty game is that it truly is a gun-on-gun Call of Duty. You need to win those gunfights and all that sort of stuff, and that's what I definitely do like about this game. You need to use guns that you're comfortable with, like I talked about, and you need to pay attention to the minimap, and that's why I run a kill streak like a UAV, because if I run another lethal kill streak that might give me 10 kills a game, the UAV is going to get me more than 10 kills a game. Not directly, the UAV doesn't kill anyone, but with the knowledge it gives me, and with the mini-map, it shows me where the enemies are. With my gun, I'm going to go and get those 10 extra kills, all thanks to the UAV, and that's another tip I'll give you guys. The next thing I'll give you guys is a lot of the maps on this game are small to medium size, which I absolutely love. A lot of the maps are 3 lanes, but they sort of flow weirdly. You need to figure out the maps, figure out the flow of them, and figure out which side of the maps work for you, which routes work for you. Enemy players and average players of the game usually take the same routes. If they spawn at the back, for example, I use this analogy a lot, not an analogy, but more like a reference. On Nuketown, if they spawn at the back of the fences, they're going to run through the building. Literally 50% of the time, they're either going to run around the left of the thing, or they're going to run through the building. That's obviously Nuketown from Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1. But you can learn similar stuff like that on these maps. When people spawn at a certain point, what way do they usually run? You can learn about that, learn about the choke points, stand on the choke points, and cut them off. Every single choke point in this game, or most of them, especially on a map like Frost, have head glitches on them, which is basically what a head glitch is just a cover where only your head is exposed. You can sit behind those and just pick people off because you know the common routes they take out of their spawn. I'm going off on this video. I'm giving so many tips. I need to save some for the rest of the series, okay? So basically, what I want you guys to do is let me know in the comment section down below any sort of questions, spam questions. I want to see hundreds, thousands of comments on this video, leaving questions of what you want to learn about Call of Duty. Let me know any sort of questions down in the comment section down below, and I'll be answering them all in my next sort of videos on this series. Also, guys, if you did make it to the end of the video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys did make it to the end. Obviously, that's absolutely awesome. It's a longer video. Drop a like on this video. That would be absolutely amazing. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I did give you guys a lot of content in this video because it was, I did have the sponsor earlier, which took up, about a minute or 30 seconds or whatever. But I did give you guys a bunch of content, so I hope you guys will be happy with this video. I think this is a really good video. Drop a like on this thing. 2,000 likes would be awesome. Subscribe for a cookie and don't looky, and I'm out. Peace.